we'll start with understanding how to create an Azure account. It's very simple, straightforward. It will not take much time. So all you need is search for Azure free trial. Click on the first link, not this one. I will click on this, create your Azure free account today. So here you can click on this start free button and it will take you to a place where you'll have to provide your personal details, phone number, credit card, email address, right? It will send you an OTP and it will also credit some minimum balance. Okay, it's just for testing, and once it is valid, once your card is validated, your account will be created. Once the account is created, you will get redirected to Azure Management Portal. Now, what do you get with this account? When you create an account, you get $200 credit that you can consume in next 30 days. After 30 days, your account will be deactivated automatically, either within 30 days or if you consume $200 credit within that period, then your account will get deactivated automatically. Okay, so within this $200 you can create most of the common Azure services, and Microsoft says popular services are free for first 1 year or 12 months, and 55 other services are always free. That's what Microsoft says. You can check what all services are free. For example, app service, these things are what Microsoft says are free. Okay, so VM virtual machines, of course, when they say free, there will be some limitations. For example, here virtual machines only with this size, these sizes are free. Within first 12 months you can consume for 750 hours, only this number of hours. Okay, and within SQL, this number of seconds, it's free up to 32 GB of storage, and first 12 months some storage is also free for 5 GB. Okay, so they don't give everything for free within that particular service, but with some limitations they give it for free. Okay, so many people ask me this question: after 1 month what should we do? Because obviously in 30 days you cannot learn much, you cannot practice much. So what I would recommend is, once your 30 days trial period is complete, you can enable pay as you go. Pay as you go means they will start charging your credit card. Now they will charge only if you consume or create something which is not free. Okay, so for example, yesterday we created an app service plan. I'm not sure if all of you were there, but app service plan is a kind of web server which is managed by Microsoft. So it has a free option, and if you by mistake, if you create it in a higher tier which involves cost, then they will start charging. So you should be very careful. Practice, I'm sure many of us, right, are already working, so you will not have much time to practice. So even if you have time, you will not practice more than an hour or two, right? So create those services and then delete immediately after your research is done. That way you will not be charged much. So maybe 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees per month is what you will get billed if you are very, very careful. Okay, just learn something, create something. Many of the services have free option. Some services do not have free option. Okay, if some services are not free, then create the lowest cost one, explore it for some time, and once you are done, delete it. Delete the entire resource group. We'll learn more about resource group today. So that way you hardly have to spend more money. Okay, so otherwise this is, you just need to click on start free. It will ask you email address, phone number, and credit card. With this combination, you can create only one account. You cannot create duplicate accounts with the same details. It won't allow you. So the combination of email address, phone number, and the card must be unique. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the slides. And Microsoft has data centers around all these regions. This is little old image. I will show you. And in fact, this image itself is very old. Now they show us a globe kind of map. Okay, so as you can see, this is a world map wherein you can see all the Azure supported regions. For example, I'm from India, so we have one in South India, Central India, and West India. And in the US, these are all various uh, regions in which Microsoft has data centers. Okay, and the way each region is designed is it will have around three uh, zones. In most of the regions, most of the critical regions, they have availability zones, and it doesn't mean that every region has all these zones. No. Okay, only important, like US, Europe, those kind of places only zones are available. In some uh, regions, you don't have zones available. Now, what is this zone? Basically, they are um, physically separate data centers within that same region. Okay, that means the electricity, networking, all that um, are separate. Right? For example, when you create a server, you can choose whether you want that to be available in zone 1 plus zone 2 or zone 3 or all together. Okay, that way the chances of having your VM going down will be less. They protect against the failures. Okay, if you don't choose zones, the cost will be low, but there are chances that it may go down. Okay, now there is a concept called region pairs. For example, as you can see here, North Central US is paired with South Central US. So the distance between these two regions is around 300 miles. So why? So this is designed by Microsoft. Each region has a paid region. So for example, for some service, whenever you create it, automatically it will be paid with the secondary region for replication. So in case if something goes wrong to primary region, of course it is very very rare, but there are chances that entire region may go down. If that happens, then automatically your data which is replicated into secondary region will become up. Okay, so we'll learn more about this when we create some services like storage account. Okay, so maybe today or tomorrow we will create a storage account, then you'll understand. Just remember that there is a concept called paid region. Each region will have a paid region which is used for automatic replication of data. Okay, and we are talking about regions. There are special regions called which are specific to government. Right now Azure has special data centers only for US government. So we as a user cannot create Azure resources in these government regions. That's not possible. Okay, so if for some reason, if you are working for um, a government, US government is your client, then maybe you have to you have to talk to Microsoft and creates a special account for US government. Okay. So maybe in the future they may have special regions for other country governments as well. For now, only US. And it has a special data centers for China as well. In general, we all know, right? China doesn't use uh, the products that are developed by other countries, right? For example, they don't even use Google search. They have their own um, search engine, right? But here, Microsoft Azure, with the help of an internet service provider called 21 Vanet, in collaboration with these guys, they have regions even in China. And we cannot create Azure subscriptions from ourselves, right? We have to work with these guys and Microsoft to create subscriptions in China. Okay, so that's about China. And so let's see Azure regions in the globe. Let's go to browser, close this, search for Azure regions on this. So this is important. Why? Because when you work with your customer, you have to ask them, where is your business located? Okay, every customer, when they approach you for um, you know, cloud support, you should ensure that the performance is taken care, right? For example, let's say your customers, a US based customer comes to you, then you should ask them where exactly you are located in the US, so you can show them all these regions. Okay, this page shows us Azure regions in a globe or in a tabular format, both. Okay, maybe let's click on this. It will take some time. So not sure why it went to separate page. It should open this in a globe. I mean, this 3D map should open up. Not sure why. That's fine. I'll click one more time. Not sure why it went to separate website. Okay, let's see. Okay, again it came back. Get all information. Not sure, guys. This used to not take, when you click on this, it used to open up the globe in a 3D map kind of thing. Not sure why it is not coming now. That's fine. So let's look at the tabular format. Now, if I choose India, we have Central India, South Central India, and South India. So when you work with your customer, you have to ask them which is, these are the available. Of course, this is in Hyderabad, it's not yet available. So you have to ask your customer, if the customer is based out of India. So where is your business located? Is it close to Central India or South India? Okay, if they are North India, then obviously Central India, Pune is what they should choose. If the customer business is located in South India, then they should choose Chennai, because if the end user's location is far, then they will get more latency, they will get performance issues. Now, how do you test? Sometimes let's say let's take US, because US is the main, right, main country where you get a lot of IT business. So obviously, let's see US. Now there are many regions, right? Now let's say Central US. You have South Central US as well, North Central US as well, West Central US as well. Sometimes even people from the US also get confused. They will not be able to decide between South Central US and Central US. Right? Even I'm working for a customer. Initially they said South Central US. Now they say Central US. Right? Within themselves there will be a lot of confusion. So to clear this confusion, what we can do is Azure latency test. Search for this keyword. You get this. This is not from Microsoft. This is a tool developed by some person. Right now I am from India. Okay. So India, where is India? Asia Pacific. I'm from South India. I'm very close to South India. Okay. I'm in fact in South India. Okay. And as you can see here, South India is selected and West US 3 is selected. Now for me, obviously South India is close. If you host, if our services in South India, it will be very fast for me. Right? Accessing something hosted in West US 3 will be a little slow when you compare it with South India. So come here, look at this map. Look at this chart. South India is Chennai. Its latency is hardly 27 milliseconds, but this is 240 milliseconds. Both of them are less than 1 second only. 1 second is very less for us, right? But here 200 milliseconds is a difference. 200 milliseconds is very minute time. Okay, but that 200 milliseconds is a huge thing for large customers with huge traffic. For one person 200 milliseconds is very less. Think about thousands of users accessing their websites and other things. That will create a lot of performance issues. Okay, so always try to check this kind of tools. Ask the user, ask your customer to access this website. There are many other tools similar to this. Ask them to browse this and understand which one is closer to them. Okay, so now maybe I will show you one more thing. I have a virtual machine created in East US. Okay, so maybe let's try from here. So this will show the other way around. Earlier from my machine, South India was very close to me, so the latency was very less. Okay, and this VM is in East US, so I'll pick that, and West US 3 also I'll pick. Now you see, because this machine is in the US, East US, the latency is very less for East US. And West US is also little 50 milliseconds or 60 milliseconds difference is there, and South India it's huge difference. So this is a tool. These are the kind of tools that you should use for different requirements. Okay. All right. And not just this, but you can also check for availability zones. In the other previous slides, we were looking at availability zones, right? So you can see Central US, East US, East US 2 has availability zones, but North Central US doesn't have availability zones yet. So all these things you should check before recommending a particular region. For example, if the customer says, I'm very close to North Central US. Okay. So now you can tell them, hey, if you are close to North Central US, right now availability zones are not available. They are coming soon. If customer says, okay, then go ahead by choosing this. If customer says, no, we need availability zones for North Central US, maybe you can recommend South Central US or Central US. So look at the options. That is very important. Okay, you should look at all these options and then recommend the correct region. Another example is products. This is really important. So when you talk to your customers, initially they will obviously tell you the requirements. Hey, we need this. For example, maybe their requirement might be to develop a web application. or they may come to you for databases, or they may come to you for data analytics. Okay, every project is different. So now once you start discussions, you will arrive at some Azure services. Okay, so now let's say 10 Azure services is what you decided to use in your project. Now in this reports, see products in this region, right? I clicked on this, which opened up this page. Now here you should look at this report and decide whether that those 10 services are available in that region or not. For example, Databricks, yes, it is available in North Central US. Okay, and maybe Azure AI Studio, it is not available yet. It's in preview. So Data Factory is available. Okay, and Purview is not available. So Fabric, okay, Fabric, leave Fabric aside, but so not every service is available in every region. Okay, so what you should do is, based on the availability of particular services, also you should tell your customer, hey, this service out of 10, 2 are not available in North Central US, but everything is available in Central US, but 2 are not available in North Central US. Customer may take a call, okay, on their requirements. So even if 2 services are not available in North Central US, that's fine. We can create 8 here in North Central US and 2 in Central US. That's also possible. Okay, but you should tell all these important factors or decision making things to your customer upfront. Otherwise, there will be problems. For example, let's take India as an example. Okay, if in India, if you are working for a customer, telecom customer, many of you are from India, right? You know, Airtel, Vodafone, Idea, these kind of service providers, right? So all these work under government authority called TRAI, TRAI, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Now they have one rule which says customer data should not go outside the country. Okay, if let's say if Airtel is your customer and you are helping them in hosting all their workloads in Azure, then you have to choose one of the 3 locations. Okay, but somehow let's say Databricks is not available in India. Maybe I'll choose India. In South India, it is both are possible, both are available. For example, you see these are not available. All these are not available in South India yet. So even if your customer is based out of South India, and if they want health bot, we should only choose Central India, which is fine. Within India, it's fine. West India is also anywhere within India, it's fine. But if some resources are not available in India, but they are available in Singapore. Singapore is close to us. Singapore has a data center or a region, one of the regions from Microsoft. So you cannot say that, hey, I will select South Singapore, okay, and we can store data there. No, that's not allowed because government has certain rules. So we may not know all the rules that government has imposed, so that your customer will be knowing all those rules. So that's why letting them know that a particular service is either available or not available in that particular region is very, very important, because there are government implications. Okay, so this is the place where you can check which country you want, which region you want to go with, and what products are available in that region. And here Microsoft tells us whether a particular service is available in country or not. GA means generally available. That means they are live. it is recommended to use them for production. But the other one, preview, means they are in beta, they are in testing phase. And then when something is in preview, they won't charge. Microsoft will not charge. It's free of cost. But there might be bugs, and they might even remove that particular service completely. Of course, which is very rare. But there are scenarios. There was a case long back where they have removed entire service altogether, which was in preview. Okay. Many things get deprecated. Many things get released. Many things gets deprecated. Microsoft keeps updating us on a regular basis. Okay, so we should be in touch with all those things. How do you get in touch? Azure updates. So you see public preview. This is a new feature, Azure Monitor Pipeline. Some feature which released yesterday. And these are all things which got released yesterday. And on 26th April, so Azure Data Catalog, that's a service. It will be retired in this next month. Hardly 15 days, 16 days is what people have. So now what is the solution? They should migrate. Whoever is using Azure Data Catalog, they should get migrated to Microsoft Purview. And this is another announcement that they have done. So new things comes up very frequently, and old things will get retired. So Microsoft Azure is very, very dynamic. Every day there is a new change. Both new features plus UI changes also come up. For example, let's say if I click on this, see all these are a menu. This is a recent UI change. Earlier everything used to get open like this. Okay, now everything has open collapse menu. This was not there earlier. I'll show you earlier what it was. So now you see all the settings are collapsed inside a menu, right? But the old view was this. Service menu behavior. This was not there earlier. Now because they have added a feature, we can decide which one you want. This is the old one, expanded one. Collapse one is a new feature. Now I applied it. If I go back, and show you, see everything is expanded now. So this is a very new feature. They released it 2-3 days back. So Microsoft Azure is very, very dynamic, and Azure Updates is the place where you can see all the updates and you can search based on month here. All right, let's go back to the slides. Feel free guys, if you have any questions, please unmute and you can ask questions. Okay, so we have looked at then Azure services and resources. Now I am using words service sometime, resources sometime. Okay, so now all these that you see here, virtual machine, storage account, these are all various Azure services or products. Okay, but you will not see the products word everywhere. Only one place that I showed you just now, right? In that page, only you will see products here. Only in this place you will see the word product, and nowhere you will see the word product. These are all various Azure services. Okay, so now in the portal, these are all various services. Okay, but when you click on something, it will show us the corresponding resources. These are all resources. There's one resource. This is this resource, okay, of type SQL Server. Okay, so basically if you remember C, I'm sure many of you might have learned C in your academics, or C++, not C++. You have this concept called classes and objects, right? So class is a kind of blueprint, and object is a live you can create multiple objects, right? It's very similarly here, all services means they're kind of blueprint. These are all various services. Yesterday I told you that there are 200 Azure services or 250 Azure services, right? So this is a list of all Azure services. Okay, now you can create objects of type of these type. For example, maybe you can create Azure Lab Service objects, which is nothing but a resource. So when you click on all resources, you will see the resources. Each of these resource is of type this. So this is a key vault. This is a resource of type key vault, where key vault is a resource type or Azure service. Okay, all right. So these are all various Azure resources. So yeah, maybe we'll create a couple of them. Maybe tomorrow we'll try to create virtual machine. Okay, I will explain what are the components, architecture of virtual machines, and then create it. Yeah, resource group. If you remember, yesterday we created a resource group. I told you that it's a kind of folder, right? So now resource group is a logical entity. It's a container which contains related resources. It's as simple as it is. Now, in real world, how do you, on what basis you create resource groups? So here in this slide, there are two examples. One, a web application, a VM, and a storage, right? All these three are related. Because they are related, one resource group is created. Okay, that's one way of creating resources. Other way is, here you can see three resource groups. The first resource group, all web apps databases are created. Second resource group, all VMs are created. Third resource group, all storage accounts are created. So here resource group is created based on Azure service, and here resource group is created based on a project requirement. Okay, most of the time we create resource group based on environments. In any project you have dev environment, QA environment, production environment, and many environments, right? For each project, each environment, you will create one resource group. Okay. Now the advantage of creating resource group is you will have everything in one place. For example, right now we are doing Azure Fundamental course, right, for the next 4 days, including today, right? So now after we are, so in these 4-5 days, we will be creating multiple Azure resources, right? Now after we are done with this 5-day course, I will have to delete everything, right? Whatever we created, because I have to save cost. So I want to be, it should be very easy for me to delete once our project is done. Our project is Azure Fundamental course. So if I create all the related resource in one resource group, it is very easy for me to delete it. That's one reason. Second thing is, if a new team member joins my team, I have to give access to them, right? You can have hundreds of resources in one environment. In one of my projects, I had 800 resources in one project for one environment only. So when new team member joins, I'll have to give them access, right? So if I have to give them access, I will give them access at resource group level, entire resource group level. I don't have to pick each and every resource and give them access, not required. Access at one level, parent level, that's it. So basically resource group will help you in grouping resources plus administrative works like giving access, deleting them, those kind of works. Okay. All right. Now, on top of resource groups, you have subscriptions. Subscriptions is a billing boundary. As you can see here, one Azure account contains multiple subscriptions: dev subscription, test subscription, and production subscription. Okay, so one way, again, there are two ways in which you can create multiple subscriptions. It all depends on your customer, your architects. So we can create one way of creating Azure subscriptions is people create different subscriptions for different environments. That's one approach. The other approach is based on departments. Let's say, for example, you're working for a customer called Citibank. So Citibank internally will have many internal departments: HR department, banking department, investing department, assets department, blah blah blah. Right? So every team needs some applications, databases, everything, right? So for every department, billing is different. Each department should take care of their billing. So one way is create a separate subscription for each of them. That way, everybody will have their own control. Okay. So now together, subscriptions and resource groups would look like this. So here at the bottom, you have resources. Resources must be created inside a resource group. Okay. And resource groups will be created inside a subscription. And subscriptions can be grouped inside something called as management groups, which is optional. Having management groups is optional. Okay, within management groups, you can have one or more subscriptions. And in one subscription, you can have one or more resource groups. In each resource group, you can have one or more resources. This is the hierarchy of Azure resources. And of course, within one management group, you can have other management group as well. Okay, there will be one root management group, and after that, you can have another different levels as well, up to six levels. Okay. All right. So let's create some resources. Virtual machine, it will take some time. So maybe tomorrow we'll do this. If you remember, yesterday we discussed about IaaS, infrastructure as service. So basically, virtual machine falls under infrastructure as service. Okay, so we cannot just create a virtual machine because it needs a lot of other resources. Like first we need to create a network, subnet, IP address, and other resources. Then only VMs can be created. So it takes time to explain VM components. Maybe tomorrow I will show you how to create a VM. There are other compute resources. VM is one compute. Basically, wherever you have CPU and RAM associated with that service, then those are called as compute service. So these are examples of compute service: VMs, app services, container instances, AKS, virtual desktop. Right? These are all various compute services. Wherever you have processors, memory, OS, these kind of things, those are called as compute resources. And wherever you can have databases, store data, those are called as data resources or data services, like Azure SQL database, okay, MySQL, PostgreSQL. There are other things as well. Some of them are ETL, like Data Factory, Databricks. So you should learn you should learn about all these Azure services. The more you know, more are the chances that you get your profile gets shortlisted, and you can clear the interview easily. Okay. For every service, you have to spend time in learning each of those. For example, app service. So you should understand why is in what cases, what are the use cases of app service? Why do people use app service? What are the features of it? And how to implement them is what you should learn. Every service has use cases. You should at least know what are the top 3 or top 5 use cases of using a particular service. or at least what are the top 5 features of each of the services. If you can memorize them, then clearing an interview is very easy. Okay, so maybe we'll talk more about virtual machines tomorrow. Let me do it quickly time check. Any questions, guys? We have some time. Maybe let's understand RBAC. So I was talking about giving access to my team members whenever they join, right? So let me explain how it works. So there is a concept called Microsoft Active Directory. We all know, I'm sure everybody would have heard about Active Directory, right? So even in Azure, there is a thing called Azure Active Directory. So for all access related things, Azure Active Directory is used. And the Active Directory name is changed to Microsoft Entra ID recently, maybe 3-4 months back. They have renamed Active Directory to Microsoft Entra ID. So this is also called as tenant or directory. Okay, so this guy, I mean, when you create an Azure account, you will get only one tenant. Okay, so within this Entra ID or directory, you will have subscriptions associated with it. You cannot just create a subscription like that. A subscription must always be associated with a tenant ID or tenant, and within the subscription you can create resource groups. All your Azure resources will be underneath it. Okay, the subscription, resource groups and resources, that is one hierarchy. And with under Entra ID you have users, end users, not end users, I'm sorry, developers like us. Okay, data in everybody, employees, all people who have access to Azure, who work with Azure, all technical members. Okay, and groups, basically you will have groups, right? Internal groups, like maybe department wise or role wise. It all depends on company to company how they create user groups. And this icon is web apps, but this is not an app service, but apps. I'll explain more about these apps later. It is a, these are called, you can treat these as identities which are similar to users. They're not actual users. The difference between these two is users will have username, password, role, all that, right? But this is very, very similar to user. It's an identity, but it will not have email address. Okay, just an app. So all these will be under tenant level. These are all at subscription level. Okay, the permissions are different here. The permissions are different here. This a particular user can be assigned roles on subscription or resource group. So giving roles, or now what is a role? Role is nothing but a set of permissions. So giving roles to user on either a subscription level or resource group level is called as RBAC. Role based access control, RBAC. Okay, so now how do you give access? Let's say I am the administrator of my Microsoft Entra ID. You see in the bottom, I have a menu item called Microsoft Entra ID. The directory name is Praveen default directory. Now, as you can see here, Azure Active Directory is now Microsoft Entra ID. So here, this is my directory name. This is the ID. This is the domain, and this license. There's 5 users, 2 groups, and 113 applications. So now I want to add a particular, let's say right now we are doing Azure Fundamentals, right? This is the one. Yeah, this is the one. So now one of you joined, let's say this is a project. One of you joined my team. So I need to give you access so that you can control this. You can create new things, you can update the existing ones, or you can delete. So what I should do is I should come here to access control and click on add role assignment. Okay, so now there are tabs here. The first tab says role. What kind of roles? They're all built-in roles. So hundreds of roles and administrator roles are there. So most of the time, all the platform engineers, DevOps engineers will get contributor access in dev environment. Okay, select this. Select this. Basically, I want to give contributor role to one of the new members who joins the team. So because the new member is a user, so select the first radio button, click on members. It will show you all the people who are part of your tenant. So maybe I'll pick Ramesh and click OK. That's it. Now I can click review plus assign and double check. So basically I want to give Ramesh the contributor access on this resource group. When I click on review plus assign, Ramesh can now log in. Basically Ramesh will receive an email. Okay. So because Ramesh is already old person, he will directly receive email. If this is the first time I am inviting new person, the new person will receive an email. That email contains invitation. It will have everything. It will say, hey, Praveen has invited you to Praveen default directory. Do you want to accept the invitation? There will be a button called accept invitation. So click on accept invitation. Then Ramesh will be able to log into the portal and Ramesh can see only Azure Fundamentals RG1. Ramesh cannot see the other ones because I gave him access only at resource group level. And from now, because Ramesh access is now, where do I see all the users who have access to this resource group? I can see them here. They are called as role assignments. So as you can see here, contributors, Ramesh is a contributor. Now because Ramesh is a contributor, Ramesh can delete, create, update. Okay, so these are all apps. Those apps are deleted, so that's why you see no unknown. I can remove them. So that is RBAC. That is how you create or assign roles or remove roles. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any questions, guys? I know it's almost 8 now. Yeah, I think we will continue tomorrow. Tomorrow I will explain how to create virtual machine. Let's do some hands-on. Today we discussed only some theory kind of thing and some hands-on, few things only on hands-on. But tomorrow I will create, I will explain you the virtual machine components and I will create a virtual machine and explain all those components. Okay. But I am open for questions, guys. One important thing is whatever I explained, you will find everything in internet, but only way you can get more information is by asking questions. If you don't ask questions, I'll just explain whatever I planned and I will just close the session. Okay. So yeah, any questions? Vicky was asking, with the same account, can I add another credit card after 30 days? No, not possible, Vicky. But you can try. They keep changing the policies. To my knowledge, um, with the same number, same email, a new credit card may not be allowed. If you have a new card, then you can link it with other number and other email address. Okay, but give a try. I have not tried those combinations. Any other questions, guys? No? Okay, all right then. If you do not have any questions, then we will stop it here. Thank you so much for your time. I will share the recording as well in the WhatsApp group. Um, I hope everybody is in WhatsApp group, right? Somebody is not there, let me know. I'll share it. All right, guys, I shared it. Yeah, feel free to join. I will be sharing the recordings there. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye bye. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Prof.